welcome to the Knitting Project. Today is Saturday the 12th of October 2024 and this is episode 161. My name is Sharon and I'm coming to you from Surrey in the UK, where I live with my family and my animals. It is Saturday, so all the family are here, as are all the animals. So I don't know what this is going to look like and how much interruptions I'm going to get, but I can guarantee there'll be a few. As you will know, that I normally record on a Thursday. Unfortunately, I was sick this week. I've got a cold, which you can probably still hear. I don't believe it. That will be the leaf blower. I will be back. Okay, we're back. Oh dear, honestly. So, regular viewers of the podcast will know normally I record on a Thursday. That didn't happen this week because I've got a cold. I am a lot better today, but I have still got a little bit of a cold. So what I've done is, if you're watching the vlogs, you will see that I've cast on something new and I've worked on other things, which won't be on the podcast because technically they should be on next week's podcast, because they would be on the Thursday to Thursday bit. And if I show them today, then it takes away from next week's podcast. That said, I haven't got an awful lot to show today just because I have been sick and I haven't been working on my projects as much. Also, I did start the Stephen West MCAL and I've abandoned it because it was just a lot of knitting and I've got other things I want to finish. At the moment, it's just in a UFO bag. Whether I frog it or not is another matter. I might just keep it for the moment and see if I want to carry on when I've seen more of the shawl. But at the moment, it's just in the UFO pile, so it could very well be frogged. And I did do quite a lot of work on that, but I'm not going to show you that just because there's no point. If I get it back out again at some point, I will. I am wearing an understated. This is done in Lay Family yarn. This is Poodle Paws, and this is a orange gradient set of minis, which I used for sort of that bit, the shoulders, and then went into Poodle Paws, which I love. I love this. It's very long, actually. It's a long one for an understated. Can I show you? And I can't show you how long it is because I can't get back far enough. But it's very long, and I love it. I really do love this jumper. You might be able to see the length of it in today's vlog at some point, because hopefully you'll have a full length of me doing something exciting. So let's get on with the actual showing you the knitting. As I said, I haven't done a huge amount this week, so this might be quite a short podcast, but we will see. Let's start with the old favourite, the sorrel update. I did manage to hit my target from last week, if you remember. My target was to wind up the second ball of yarn. These are the two that I'm using. This is Night King, I think. Hold on. I've got the ball band. Nope, I have not got the ball band. That's annoying. I think it's Night King. It's Folk Yarn Studio, and it was part of her Game of Thrones collection. So that's the two yarns I'm using. I'm now helical knitting it. So let's just pop it all through properly. I was where a little fella was last week. And I have done, it doesn't look like much, but it is quite a long way round. And as I said, I've started helical knitting so that if they are slightly different in colour, it doesn't notice. Would you like to pull down at the front there so you actually see it? There we go. Yeah, you can see that now. So I am whizzing away on the body. Both the sleeves are done, and all I have left now is the body, so I need to get on with that, and then hopefully I can wear that for the retreat, which would be good. So that's going to get most of the love this week, but I'm not too worried about that for the podcast now because I've got 3 or 4 new things to show you next week, so that's good. So I'm going to work hard on that. I'm going to take that with me today when we go out on car journeys and things, and see if I can get that done. I'm hoping that these two will be enough to do the body. If not, I've really got to find the rest of that yarn. But we will see. I think that'll be enough. So I will go at some point. I'll run out of this and it will just be going into that one. But yeah, I'm doing this on 4.5, did we decide, millimetre needles? No, they're just 4mm needles. So it's little 4mm needles. It's 4-ply yarn, and the top minis were from All's Wool, the Ends Wool. It was a mini set that I bought 3 or 4 years ago from the Southern Wool Show. It just goes to show you do eventually use your stash. It was a pastel rainbow mini set, and as I said, the main yarn is from the Lonely Knitter Folk Yarn Studio for the main body. It's knit inside out, so that will be the right way round. But to stop you having to pile every row, you knit it inside out, so you knit every row. And the patterns from Wool and Pine, and is the Summer Sorrel. There is a Winter Sorrel, which is a DK one, which I am considering making. I have got some DK minis I could do a yoke in, but yeah, I really want to get that sorted, so that's going to get a lot of love this week. I say that every week and then I don't work on it, and it's hanging out in my So Sweet Violet giant bear bag. So that's that one. I'll put that out somewhere where I can grab it so I don't bury it. The other one I've made progress on, and I did make a lot of progress on this, was the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose Knits. And I managed to find some more of the undyed. This is actually a Knit by Numbers undyed one, so it's a slightly different base, but I'm mixing it together because you hold 4-ply double, so I'm actually holding that with that so it doesn't look so bad. There is a colour difference, but quite frankly, it's a blanket, I don't care. Right, where am I? I'm in the middle of a decrease of... Right, let's just get all the bits wound where they're supposed to be, so I can show you. That's also the wrong way around. Let's try it that way around. So I think I was halfway through that square when you saw this last week. So I did the rest of that square, and now I'm 3/4 of the way through this square. I love that colour. Isn't that a pretty colour? These are all minis that I got an advent from my friend Jules. And it's looking really good. So I've kind of squared it off when I finish this one. I need to work out what I'm going to do next. I need to do like a cross one and then an up one or something. But yeah, as you can see, they're all facing the correct direction now, which they weren't before. So I'm pleased I picked this up. It's a very easy knit. There is but a bit like the Stephen West, there is a lot of knitting to these. They're not quick. I can do a square in a day, but I wouldn't really be knitting anything else because they do take a little time. Again, there's a lot of knitting in them. That's using a full 10-gram mini and then some, because they don't always finish. So then I have to go into the cream. So it's going to be quite cream heavy, this blanket. But I don't think you can notice where they run out, to be fair. It blends quite well. But yeah, it's very pretty. And obviously it's going to be a finished blanket very quickly because they are such big squares. I don't know what size I'm making it yet. I'm certainly going to use all of the minis from the Advent, so that's 24 minis. And at the moment I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I've used 16 of them. that case I've definitely used some from the Beautiful Bits baskets as well, because I've definitely got more than that left of the Advent. But yeah, I love it. So pretty. Such a fun knit. It is actually an easy knit once you get your head round it. I don't need to look at the pattern anymore. I do need to look at the pattern to start the new squares and work out what I'm doing, but I don't need to look at the pattern for these squares. I've got these ones sussed, but this one I'd have to, when I'm starting this one, I will have to look at the pattern. I'll also need to be very careful when I start that one that I don't start it the wrong way round, which is, as I said, what happened before. So yeah, they're the 3 that I've done this week. However, I would say that if you've got an Advent this year and you fancy making this, obviously get your undyed in before the 1st of December. You could knit a square on this during Advent, and in some respects it's a really good Advent knit because it's quite easy. Once you get going, it's not difficult. I think you would be able to get a square done in a day. You wouldn't get any other knitting done. I think if you have like one of those Advent socks where you knit a stripe each day and you want to do an Advent project, this is doable. I think you could do it, and I think you would use, I mean, as I said, this is 10 grams. So if you've got a 20 gram Advent, you might be able to do kind of double the size. And I mean, I would do all 24 and then do the 24 again maybe, or do 2. You could do 2 side by side. That would be a look. It would be a way of doing it. The only thing I would suggest is that you sew your ends in each time you finish a square. So I have done that. I have been very good about sewing in my ends. But then that way you haven't got all the ends to do at the end of it. Oh, that was too many ends in that sentence. So I will, as soon as I finish this, I will sew in my ends. But as you know, I am quite good about sewing in my ends. I'd rather get them done. This is living in my lovely bucket bag by Ginny Manx, which I got from the retreat last year. I'm expecting that this is going to go to the retreat with me this year, if I'm honest. I think that will be what I'll probably end up working on. I'll probably take that and a pair of socks, which I will cast on in some Lay Family yarn. Right, so next, I left the pattern out. Next up is my socks that I found. So these are Meg's socks I'm trying desperately to get done for her by the end of October. Oh, I have a baby bottle cap in here. That's from my little granddaughter. So this is from, it's called Exploding TARDIS, and it's a Lurex yarn. So it's very sparkly. I could think you could also double it as Starry Night. And I have done a lot of this since you last saw it, because I think the last time you saw it, it was just a cuff. And I've done the leg, so that's how it's sitting up, and I've done the heel flap, and I've turned for the heel. So now I need to pick up the gusset stitches. So if I can get this done by the 15th, then I've got a good chance that I will be able to get the other sock done. However, because I want to get that sorrel knit as well before the retreat, I'm going to have to try and work on these 2 kind of exclusively. But as I said, I have got some other things I can show you. So we'll see. I'm trying to do a little rotation of my knitting each day. I think today is Summer Sorrel Day. Let me have a quick look. So Friday is going to be the sorrel day. Saturday is going to be my socks, which are these. Sunday is the dust of snow wrap, if I'm okay to knit that, because I have problems with the mohair on my chest when I've got a cold. And then it's the hat. No, then it's the Sweet Shop blanket, then it's the hat. So the rotation is Sweet Shop blanket, hat, sorrel, socks, dust of snow. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 active projects. There is actually a 6th and 7th in there, but they're not active ones. They are both projects that I will pick up and knit if I'm in the right room in the house. You'll see more about that on the vlog at some point. I don't think I've mentioned it yet, but I only really got back to vlogging yesterday after being ill. Because, you know, seeing me sitting in bed with a box of tissues is not particularly entertaining. So yeah, that's it for, I think, for the knitting content this week. I'm just doing these on 2.5mm needles. These are Chalgoos. They're quite long Chalgoos. I don't normally use them that long on a sock. I like the much shorter ones, but all my short ones are in projects at the moment, or at least in project bags, so that I need to rectify that situation. Also, does anybody find when you get brand new Chalgoos that the cords are really sticky and your yarn won't slide up it? I cast on something new during the week with my new needles that I'd bought, and I was having awful trouble with the actual cord until I'd knit a few rounds, and then after that it was okay, but they seem to be very sticky to start with. Just wondering if anybody else has noticed that. Okay, so that's that. This is living in my Halloween bag, which is a Toad Hollow bag, which I got with a Halloween countdown set 2019, I think. I knit those socks for Meg a couple of years ago. I think I actually started them during the Vlogtober, so it might not be 2019. I can't remember when I did my first Vlogtober, but it was on my first Vlogtober. So that's that. I have got some happy mail, but if you haven't had your Spectrum Fibres Tropics Club yet this month, look away. So I will show you, because this only arrived like yesterday. Oh, I love it so much. That middle one. Oh, that middle one. So gorgeous. Right, you can look back now. I don't know what I'm going to make with them. I found all my minis. You'll see in my vlog, they're sort of sitting up on next to my lamp. And I really, really wanted to make something out of them that's a set. I'm thinking maybe shorty socks for the summer, because they'd be such fun shorty socks. And because you've got like the plain colour, the speckled colour, and the kind of other speckled colour, I guess, they'd make such good jelly roll socks because of the contrast of the three colours. I could just see that like the plain could be one jelly roll, then the darker speckle could be the second jelly roll, and then the foot could be like the bright light colour, and then the toe could be the dark one. And yeah, I could just see being able to do things with these. I mean, obviously they make a very bright blanket, but I don't know. I will decide on that. I think that might be a project for next year. But for the moment, I'm just keeping them in a little pile over there. But yeah, so that's my happy mail. Knitting project news. I'm going to the Lay Family Yarn Retreat at the end of the month. I'm away in the caravan next weekend, so I'm hoping to get some crafting done there. The cupboard project is coming along. That everything in that corner is now out in the kitchen, so that I can take off the stuff that's on the shelves. If you want to watch that, keep up with the vlogs, because I will hopefully show you what's on the shelf as I take it down. And then I'm going to put what's on my sewing trolley, I'm going to put up on the shelf because I'm not really using it at the moment. And then I'm going to put the sewing trolley in that cupboard with all my whips in it. So we're going to have a bit of a whip roundup, I think. I'm also going to try and be quite ruthless and frog things, because I need to get on with doing the stash sorting as well. So that's on hold until I've got that done. But once I've got that done, I'm going to go back into my stash sorting. That was very useful when I came to cast on a hat this week, which you won't see because that'll be next week's podcast. But yes, it was very useful for that, so that I could see what I wanted and find it. Right, I think that's it from me. As I said, I really don't think this is a very long podcast, but I hope you've enjoyed what there is. I realised, I think I said on here, which might be a bit daft, I think I need to say that on the vlogs. If you only watch the vlogs and don't watch the podcast, let me know. Well, if you're not watching the podcast, you can't let me know. Watermelon. So I need to say that on a vlog, not on the podcast, unless I actually said that on the vlog earlier, in which case this makes no sense whatsoever. Never mind. It's been lovely to catch up with you all. I hope you're all okay. Those of you out in Florida, I hope you've survived okay. Sounds awful. Sending you love and hugs. Here in the UK, the weather's very indifferent. It's just a grey day here today. It's cold. It did get a bit chilly. We've had to put the heating on. It didn't help because obviously being sick, you get cold, don't you? And I get cold naturally anyway these days, so it doesn't take long for me to get cold. But this room actually is the warmest room in the house, which is nice. So people come in and leave the door open. I'm like, no, shut the door. You're letting out the hot air rather than you're letting in the cold air. But yeah, it is a bit chillier here now. It is quite nice. It's very autumnal. But yeah, I'm off to the caravan next weekend. The weekend after that, I'm hoping to go and see a really good friend. I don't know if she's clocked I'm doing Vlogtober, so I will actually be vlogging her. Fair warning, Kate. And then, yeah, then it's the end of Vlogtober, which is scary. It's amazing how quickly it's coming around, because it's the 12th today. The 15th is sort of the middle of it. It's like, how has that happened? I've got all these plans, and I mean, it didn't help that I forgot to order the fruit for my Christmas cake this week, so let's rectify that one next week. I've got all these plans and, you know, haven't sorted it. But I'm looking forward to doing Sunday. Sunday should be fun. And then we'll see what next week's brings. It's going to be more cupboard sorting, I think, and lots of looking in bags and seeing what we've got in there. Right, I've probably rambled on enough now, so I hope you're all okay wherever you are. Take care, and I will see you next week, hopefully.